understand what it means and with these words in tandem all together, what do they mean together, right? And to do that, I will take you through a couple of verses in the same surah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about perhaps the second best person ever set on the earth, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. So, in the Quran, it's very interesting, and this is my interpretation of it. When it talks about Ibrahim, it talks about the test and the turbulence that Ibrahim had to endure. If we go back a page and a half, you will realize that this ayah is over there, and it talks about, there's about like 10 verses that goes one after the other about Ibrahim. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا قَالَ وَمَنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي قَالَ لَا يَنَالُ عَهْدِي الظَّالِمِينَ. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah says, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested Ibrahim, one test after another, and he completed them successfully, and Allah declared that He is going to make Ibrahim Imam over the mankind. And this is really interesting. What are these tests? He did not become shahid before completing this test. And as dua, we also want to become shahids, witnesses. The first one is very interesting. Imagine a baby being born to a family whom he loves the most, his father and mother. He realizes that they're not worshipping the right God, that they're not worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he goes against the will of his father. The first test, the one that he loves most, is his father. And he has to go against him. And he says, قال إبراهيم قال أراغب أنت عن آلهتي يا إبراهيم. His father says, are you against what I believe in? And he says, لئن لم تنتهي لأرجمنك. I am going to stone you if you don't stop this and stay away from it. This is what his father, his own father, tells him. Upon that, what he responds as is, قال سلام عليك. This is very interesting. His son, understanding that his father is doing wrong, he still says salam alayk. And this is the first character of a da'i, that when he invites, even if it backfires, it says salam alayk. وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. And whenever the juhala, the ones that don't know, they face the believers will always say salam. So this is the prophetic tradition. We say salam alaykum. So that is the first thing. He has to give up on his father. And then he continues. The second thing, he faces the king. And when he faces the king, they have a debate. And in the debate, إذ قال إبراهيم رب الذي يحيي ويميت قال أنا أحيي وأميت قال إبراهيم فإن الله يأتي بالشمس من المشرق فأت بها من المغرب فبهت الذي كفر. And remember when Ibrahim told this king, Namrud, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that gives life and takes away. He says, I can do that as well. I can kill somebody and let somebody live as well. And then Ibrahim goes for the other round. He says, well, Allah can bring the sun up from the east. If you can do it as well. And he is astonished and he gives up. So this is as a result of this, what happens is they cast him into the fire. Now, for a child, his father is the one that he loves most. But as a father, I know that I love my son more than myself. But it doesn't go the other way around, not necessarily for a child. Now he has to give up his own life, next step, levels up, right? So Ibrahim now has to give up his life. and he's going to be casted into the fire. To cut the story a little bit shorter, because our guest has arrived, I will continue without reading the verses, but you understand the message. The message is the second level is even more difficult. And he's being cast into the fire, and now he needs to go to the next level. Now, he gave up his life. He gave up his father. Now, he travels into a country with the only believer with him, his beloved wife Sarah. And another turmoil, and another test, listen. So he needs to also make dua when they take away his wife. So this is the second test that he needs to endure. Imagine, for a husband, his wife, a husband is more than willing to give his life for his wife. So what they took away, what they tried to take away from him, is much dearer than his own soul. So that's another level up. And it continues. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifts him another wife, another believer, that he himself had to leave in the middle of a barren land in Mecca, without any food, without any water. We know the story. Hajar, with the baby Ismail. And over there, you understand that it is even dearer to his own wife to leave your child behind. So it's a bigger test. So each step he's taking, he's encountering a more difficult test. So now he has to leave his son and son's mother in the middle of the desert with no food. But interestingly, when he leaves them, he says, رَبَّنَا إِنَّنِي أَسْكَنْتُ مِنْ ذُرِّيَّتِي بِوَادٍ غَيْرِ ذِي زَرْعٍ. Oh Lord, I left my family in a place where there is no food. What's interesting is, in the following part of the verse, it doesn't ask for food. It says, so that they will praise you and do their salah. And people will come and that place will be blessed with fruits and everything. So that is very interesting. So the first thing that he asks for is not the food for the family. It is so that they're going to be praising you and doing their salah. So that is the other test. So he passes that test as well. And last but not the least, he also has to sacrifice his son. So every test, from the beginning to the end, when you realize, it starts with abandoning the father, had to, giving up the life, and then being tested with the only Muslim, the one that he cared about the most, his wife. And after that, sacrificing his own son. So every time he does, it is as if he's leveling up. He's becoming the wasat. Prophet ﷺ says, when you ask for the Jannah, ask for the wasat of the Jannah, ask for the middle of the Jannah, because that is the core. It doesn't mean the average, it just means the core. So Ibrahim ﷺ, he started from the big circle, slowly but surely he ended up in the middle. So, as a result of that, when you follow all of these verses, there's another verse that is interesting here. تلك أمة قد خلت لها ما كسبت ولكم ما كسبتم ولا تسألون عما كانوا يعملون. And so they were such a ummah, Ibrahim as such. Whatever they did, it is for them, and whatever you do is going to be for you. Ibrahim completed his test, and he became Khalilullah. He became the beloved, the companion, the friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as he progressed from this big circle into the whole. Similarly, if we were to go back to the same verse, now we're going to read it in a different way, I know. This is the first verse that I shared with you. It says, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. So we created you أُمَّةً وَسَطًا, so the medium community. meaning that you're at the core, meaning that you have accomplished all of these tests and you are able to arrive at the core. So we will always face a challenge. The moment we overcome, a bigger one is going to approach. A bigger calamity is going to be waiting for us, that we're going to have to be enduring. And then we're going to be shuhada. We are going to be able to bear witness. For our beloved Prophet ﷺ is going to be able to witness that we were trying to spread his words, talk about Islam to non-believers. The QR code that you see here is about the King Foundation and about how to become a member of the King Foundation. If you're not a member